Welcome to the channel for the first time viewers. Welcome back for my existing subscribers. Today I'm going to be going over my E3 2019 recap. This is a video that I was not going to make. It's just a video that, I've been kicking around. It was in my notes section of my computer for a while from when I did watch E3 live. A lot of things that I was excited about, I was really wanting to share, but then other things came up and then I just focused on those instead. So here we go, because I decided that I'm just going to go ahead and do it. So the number one game that I was most excited for E3 2019 was Cyberpunk 2077. Now, when this game comes out, I'm definitely going to live stream it for you guys, just because it's a game that I've been so interested in. I don't know if I'm going to make a series about it. I don't know what's going to happen as far as covering it on the channel, but the game looks very detailed. The game is right up my alley as far as the looks and the way the action is looking like it's going to pan out from the gameplay they've done, and just the attention to detail that is on display by CD Projekt Red. There was a little bit of controversy following, what the creator's idea was for one of the enemy factions in the game. Apparently, they didn't like the way that people of color were being portrayed as these bad guys. But to me, if it fits the canvas, then you got to roll with what that creative vision was. So that alone makes me want to support the game even more. And I think it had to do with something about there's like a Haitian faction and they're being mistreated and they're being labeled as the bad guys in this game. To me, and I'm Haitian and it doesn't bother me. So if somebody's outraged on my behalf, then, you just got to fall back, because I want to play this game and see how it actually plays out. Also, another thing that makes me excited about this game is the track record that CD Projekt Red has. It's one of those developers that you can kind of trust. It's very similar to not the multiplayer faction of Rockstar, but the single player. Like when Rockstar makes a single player game, it's at least going to be good, and you're expecting something great at all times. The next game I was excited for was Madden 20. Madden 19 was kind of one of those games that came out the gate swinging, but over time it just kind of got stale. The graphics look a little bit tighter for Madden 20, so I wasn't excited about that, but it was like, all right, cool. They made the graphics look a little bit better, so that's nice. The superstar mechanics, or the X Factor mechanics, looked really cool, so that was part of my notes that I had written down. Like there's certain mini games within a game, kind of like on 2K. If you play 2K, you can do a couple of actions, and then like if you make a shot, then somebody has a microwave trait and they are more likely to become on fire, things like that. So they added that to the game, so that should play out a little bit more tactical when it comes to online play, especially when you start using those position plays for specific plays, and then you're kind of saving that special weapon, and when they finally activate it, then you got a problem on your hands. All right, so I'm also ready to get back to football. So that's another thing it's kind of just, it's rough when the summer comes. There's just no football, and kind of miss having the NFL Europe around. But I'm sidetracking, so let's get back to it. There's a college segment of the game in the superstar mode that I'm really excited, because I miss NCAA football. So I want to see how that actually comes down and actually plays. I'm actually looking to do that. I heard there was a Madden 19 mod that adds, you can only play the play now mode, but it adds a lot of the college teams to Madden. And overall, I'm just curious to see how it turns out. As I stated in a previous video, I am going to be coming back to the Are They Madden Good series, so that should be interesting as well. So this isn't specifically a game, but this is developer news that had me interested and piqued my interest. Rainbow Six Quarantine looks pretty promising. It looks like it was pretty much a full version of Outbreak, which was like a seasonal thing. And after playing the Showdown event, it kind of makes you wonder how well they can execute on some of these ideas outside of Siege. So because they did a really good job, and if they were to stand alone, I wonder how successful a game like Quarantine would be. All right, I hope it's a purchasable add-on for Siege versus a full game, only because there's a very big install base on Siege, and if you could just buy a game mode and add it into Rainbow Six Siege, that would be really dope. Some people might not like that idea, but I feel like for the people that do want to play that, to be able to have that piggyback option, where some people might not even know about the quarantine mode or the quarantine game that's coming, but if it popped up as a message in Siege and it was like, hey, this is not a limited time event, purchase the quarantine mode here, and it, even if it had a different launcher or whatever, but that would just be a really cool thing that I think they could add to Siege to increase the player base of Quarantine, make sure it is successful. I have Origin Access Premier, So the fact that Ubisoft is making Uplay Plus is a really good thing for the people that don't already own all the Ubisoft games. So if you're an Assassin's Creed fan, and to go over it real quick, it's kind of like a subscription, right? Like Netflix, but for Ubisoft games. So Ghost Recon Breakpoint, that's an interesting game that I'm going to be getting later this year, just to see if they bring it back to Future Soldier times, when I really like the franchise. But if you're a Ubisoft fan, you play Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs Legions was announced. There's a lot of games that they drop, and they're, like I said in the past, becoming one of my favorite developers just because of the consistency of the products that they release. I love Far Cry when I play it. I feel like it's a well-made game, even with its issues. Siege is my favorite game, even with its issues. Assassin's Creed, I hope they don't keep pumping them out year by year, but these last two have been really good after the series almost died from stagnation. So Uplay Plus is going to be an interesting thing. Lastly, on the same note as Assassin's Creed, they did a community design feature, I guess you could say, where you can create quests in Assassin's Creed Origins. I think that's really cool for the longevity of a game. So the same quest lines that the developers use and make, you can create your own. I think the way it works is like you just pretty much type in the dialogue, and then the community can play your quest. Like you type in the dialogue. They don't actually speak because there's no voice acting, but you create the quest. You say, go here, go there, collect this, bring this back, and mission's complete. This is a reward. So you get to create your own quest and play community quests. So like I said, I feel like that does a lot for the longevity of it. The next segment I'm going to talk about is going to be, there's two more things I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about Modern Warfare. I'm going to talk about AMD overall. So for Modern Warfare, I'm not too excited about the inevitable microtransactions. The game is looking good so far. Nothing fantastic, but it looks a little bit more alive than all the previous Call of Duties. I like that it's current time and we don't really have very powerful current day shooters. So for that, I'm excited for. Crossplay sounds very exciting, but they keep using the working on whenever they're talking about it. Like, we're working to bring crossplay, or we're working towards being able to promote crossplay. So that's kind of worrisome for me because I'm going to get this game on PC. I'm not going to get it on PlayStation. I don't have an Xbox anymore. So if it does not have crossplay, then I can't get it, because Black Ops 4 is completely and utterly, like, you cannot find a game. Like, you can find the main multiplayer game, and that's it. Like, you can find TDM. I never even look for domination. You can't find hardcore TDM matches. You for sure can't find blackout matches. I think when they release a new season or something crazy and people come back to check that stuff out is the only times when you can actually find matches. The new graphics engine, like I said, it looks a little bit more alive, and I had a theory that the trailer that they shot was done with an RTX card with ray tracing turned on. So I don't know what it's going to look like on the console side of things. I think it still might look pretty good, but it might not look as impressive as we first saw that trailer. So they had a bad track record overall, so I can't put anything past Activision as a publisher, and I can't really trust any of them, because Treyarch really they doubled down and solidified on how poorly they monetize their games when it comes to being consumer friendly. Now, if you are all about what they do as far as loot boxes and not alpha packs, but supply drops, reserves, whatever they're calling it at the time, or as EA would say, surprise mechanics, which was crazy in itself. But if you're all about that, then Modern Warfare is something that you should definitely pick up, because even if they add it later on, I mean, what's the worst that could happen, right? Black Ops 4 killed it for me, and in the last update, they added guns to it, just like I always thought that they would, and now they're finally here. So that's besides the point. But Modern Warfare, I'm kind of excited about. I'm like not even cautiously optimistic. If it has crossplay, I'll pick it up just because it'll be another game to play. So it is what it is. Actually, I have one other thing to add on to topics I want to talk about, but let me talk about AMD first. The new CPU lineup for AMD, for my PC gamers out there, is looking really good with the new Ryzen 3000 series. I don't know. I'm like kicking around the idea of upgrading my own CPU. I have a Ryzen 7 2700X right now, and it serves me just fine, but it's like one of those things where, do I really want maybe like 10 or 15 more frames per second to close the gap between the Intel and AMD? And in some cases, it's significantly more. But the other big thing is that the baseline model of the CPU, the Ryzen 3600, is actually pulling in numbers at times that are equivalent to my CPU. So at $200, you can get a very capable computer chip that's going to keep pace with a stock 8700, 8700K. So that's something you may want to look at. The GPUs, also the 5700 and the 5700 XT, are looking really good. Really good options at $400 to $350. In certain situations, they're actually beating out some of the top tier NVIDIA cards. I've seen pretty much benchmarks where they're keeping up with the 2070 Super, and that's no slouch. That's like a little baby version of a GT or RTX 2080. So if you didn't know what that was, they kind of NVIDIA, the two graphics card companies are like NVIDIA and AMD, and NVIDIA released their graphics cards last September, and AMD just released theirs last week. So it's looking like the cheaper option is actually outperforming the refreshed version of the NVIDIA option. So that's going to be something that shakes it up. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is Game Pass Ultimate. I think it's a really good deal for those of you that play Xbox and also have PC, just because it has, disclaimer here, I do work at Microsoft, by the way. I work there part-time, but this is my own opinion. If you have Xbox Live and you have PC and you have Xbox, there's games on there right now, for example, that I've purchased already myself, like Metro Exodus, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Monster Hunter World. Vampire I thought about getting, but I didn't buy it. Got a lot of friends that play Ark. There's a lot of games in there that provide a lot of value, and also I would be buying Gears of War 5 regardless. So that's just my opinion on it, is that it's a really good deal. I know there's a promo at the time I made this video where you can get 3 months for like $15. So if you stack that and just bought like 4 of those cards, you could pretty much, for the cost of Xbox Live, get Game Pass Ultimate. So that's pretty cool right there. Overall, this is the video, like I said, I wasn't going to make because so much time has passed since E3. But every time I go into my notes section on my computer, I see it, and it's just like, yo, I might as well just talk about it, because this is some stuff that I was always excited about. So now you have it. Let me know what was exciting to you about E3, what you think about some of the topics I touched base on in this video, and then we can have a conversation in the comment section. So I look forward to seeing who's going to be the first, and just responding to all you guys down there. All right, be easy, and I will catch you in the next video.